back with another episode of Wrestling with the Homies. I'm the homie Qwan, and as always, I'm joined by my good homies, Sylvan, and my boy, Cooley.
Yeah.
How y'all fellas doing, man? Y'all feeling good?
Blessed. Highly favored. I'm feeling great, man. How y'all living
forever
today,
blessed,
man?
Forever
This
blessed.
man
We
said
here.
blessed and highly favored. That was very textbook of you, my friend.
We are here. Let's get it, man.
I'm keeping the textbook before I had to go off the rails. You feel me?
I'm nervous. I'm nervous already. Now, look, before we get into this wrestling talk, please tell me y'all saw that Brian Alvarez interview.
Bruh.
My man Brian Alvarez, esteemed wrestling journalist Brian Alvarez, said, "Why are the fans chanting, 'Whoop that trick at Trick Williams'? It doesn't even make sense."
Oh, brother.
Yo, this is why we need black faces in this space. He had no idea what whoop that trick was. Like, come on, bro. You ain't seen Hustle and Flow. You ain't seen a Grizzly game. Something.
Come on, man. That's crazy.
As a white man, that's hilarious to me. You know what I mean? Because if I'm putting myself in his shoes as a white gentleman, and I hear a crowd saying "whoop that trick" and his name is Trick, and I don't know anything about any of the references, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Why do you want Trick to get whooped? It's like
I'm not even gonna bring it up. Okay. I'm just leave it alone. Like that's their thing. I don't know.
Right.
He probably didn't even know it's our thing, which is the crazy part.
I'm saying, and look, shout out to Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer. We love them to death, but yo, you got to tap in with the culture, my brothers.
Tap.
But on that note, y'all ready to talk some wrestling?
Let's get it, man. You know what I'm here for.
All right, so let's go to Sylvan's favorite topic on this podcast. Let's go to LA Knight real quick.
I like the way this is starting already. Get your rocks off, man.
So LA Knight has 4 of the top 5 selling T-shirts in WWE right now. 4.
Of course he does.
4.
Say that again one more time.
4.
Incredible.
Jeez.
Incredible. What a guy.
But when is the last time LA Knight won a match? Does LA Knight ever win matches? So my question is, how does a guy who never wins matches have 4 of the top 5 selling T-shirts in the company? How is that possible? That's crazy, right? What if I told you it's not crazy? What if I told you it's by design? What if I told you wins and losses are not as important as you think? Now, let me back up because I know the internet is going to get mad at that statement. I would never say that wins and losses don't matter because we all know a string of wins can spark a career the same way a string of losses can stop momentum. But largely in this wrestling, this premeditated fictional sport, wins and losses are not as important as y'all think. But to tell this story, we really got to go back. I want to look at the career of Seth Rollins. Now, Seth Rollins is a guy who's reached the top of this sport. Do we all agree Seth Rollins has been at the top, the very top level of this sport?
Top dog.
Seth Rollins was the guy to beat Brock Lesnar at a point when WWE was protecting Brock Lesnar. Nobody beat Brock Lesnar. Seth Rollins beat him. He was on top of the world, right?
Yep.
And then what happened? He got stale. Fans turned on him. He was out here winning matches, but fans turned on him. They started to boo him. He was a baby face out there, high-fiving people in the audience and kissing kids, and the fans were booing. Fast forward to now, 2023, Seth Rollins is on top of the sport again. He's the world champion. He's probably having the best 2003 that you can think of. Would y'all agree Seth Rollins is one of the greatest right now today? One of the biggest baby faces in the industry?
Yeah, absolutely.
Most definitely man.
Hall of Famer, one of the best wrestlers of all time in the making.
Right.
You see how the crowd sing that man's song?
When he goes out there, look, he got the crowd in the palm of his hands every week singing his song.
Facts.
But question, when did this career resurgence for Seth Rollins begin? 2002, am I correct?
2022.
I mean, 2020. I don't know why I said 2002. 2022. Is that correct?
You know why?
Did Seth Rollins resurgence start in 2022? Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I got a fun fact for you fellas. Did you know in 2022, the person in the WWE with the most losses was Seth Rollins? Out of a possible 120 matches, Seth Rollins lost 74 of those.
God damn.
That's over 60% of his matches. Seth Rollins lost to Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins lost to Bobby Lashley. Seth Rollins lost to Austin Theory. Seth Rollins lost to Maverick. I might have beat Seth Rollins in 2022. So did you beat Seth Rollins in 22?
I didn't beat Seth Rollins in 2022.
Hey, you the only one because it looked like everybody beat Seth Rollins in 2022. Yo, Seth Rollins lost so much in 2022. I thought that Michael Jordan was the general manager of Seth Rollins.
Oh
we all
my
know Michael Jordan
God.
teams don't win. So
Oh my God,
Look.
my guidance.
Wow.
listen, Seth Rollins was on his back more than a prostitute in 2022.
All
Yet
right.
somehow Seth Rollins had his career resurgence. How did a man that had his career resurgence lose more than anybody else on the roster? I'll tell you how. Character. His character developed. The dances got a little more wackier. The outfits got a little crazier. He went from the fur jacket to tights to neon green suits and fishnet tank tops. The laugh got a little more sinister. The movement, the strut, it all got a little zanier. And Seth Rollins got over. He got over to the point where he was a bad guy, but the fans were cheering him. Because think about it. There was no point in time when Seth Rollins became a babyface. He didn't do anything definitive to become a babyface. The fans turned him into a babyface because they got behind his character and started cheering him. They didn't care if he was doing dastardly evil things on screen. They were cheering him because his character connected, which brings me to my last point. Character and your character connecting with the paying audience is the most important thing in professional wrestling. That's way more important than a win and a loss. And again, I'm not saying wins and losses don't matter because they do. But character development is more important than wins and losses will ever be. This past Friday night on SmackDown, we saw LA Knight go to the ring. He cut a promo about becoming the number one contender for the U.S. title. He said he was going to defeat Austin Theory at SummerSlam, and then he got in the ring and he lost. When he lost, the internet erupted. Twitter was full of, WWE's not pushing LA Knight. WWE is fumbling LA Knight. I can't believe LA Knight is losing these matches. What are they doing? Do they not realize what they have? Trust me. These wins and these losses are not going to matter because LA Knight has done what 99% of wrestlers strive to do. He's gotten over. And he's gotten over in a way that we haven't seen since, the late 90s, early 2000s? So I say this. Go outside, touch grass, relax, rub the back of your ears, and give me a woo-sa. Come on, y'all. Do it with me. Do it with me. 1, 2, 3. Woo-sa. It's going to be all right, wrestling fans. These wins and these losses don't matter because he is over. He is over in a way that most people wish they can get to. So it's not the end of the world. These wins and losses are not that important. And that's my spiel.
I'm not mad.
Fellas, care to react? You care to react?
I'm not mad at that. I agree 100%. Qwan, you need an Oscar, man. That was Oscar worthy. I like that, man.
That was pretty good. That was pretty
good. Shed a tear, man. I gotta shed a tear. God damn.
I gotta tell the truth on this podcast, and I'm surprised that I'm not getting pushback right now because I know Sylvan loves the argument.
I'm still giving you some pushback. I'm just saying that I agree with you. I'm just saying I agree with you. My only pushback is that while I do agree character work is number one, 100%. You are by the books correct. I do think that when you're talking about wrestlers that haven't necessarily gotten over, who are maybe newer and haven't solidified themselves as a top contender in WWE, if they're losing continuously and they haven't really gotten that spark to get them necessarily over to the audience, that can be pretty dangerous to any wrestler. And we've seen it with countless acts like Mustafa Ali, who has come with multiple character rebrands and multiple repackages, and he just doesn't seem to quite connect, and he's been losing to the point where we've kind of considered him a jobber, and now he's gone to NXT to kind of figure out how to, pick up his bearings for the most part. I just think it's a lot more dangerous for guys who haven't solidified themselves to continue to lose while they're trying to figure out what their bearings are, as opposed to someone like Seth Rollins, who already won the WWE Championship, won the Universal Championship, beat Brock Lesnar. He went stale, And it's like, okay, well, wrestlers go stale from time to time. You can kind of figure it out. He has the grace to figure it out because he's already solidified. I just think that wins and losses do matter to the wrestlers who haven't gotten over, who haven't solidified themselves as a top contender, who are trying to figure out their bare bones. If you're losing all the time, we're going to just consider you a jobber, or we're going to start considering you as a jobber. And even if I understand if you do win, we could still not care, but it's better for me to not, but it's better for us to not care and you're winning than for you to lose and us not to care, because then you'll probably be in catering and we probably won't ever see you on TV again. A lot of wrestlers. So
I got a question for you, Sylvan. So if wins and losses don't matter, according to you, for the newbies, do you think any of the top wrestlers ever had to go through that in the beginning of their career?
I don't think that wins and losses don't matter for new wrestlers. I think that
you think they do matter.
I think
they do matter.
I think wins and losses do matter for newer wrestlers that haven't figured themselves out, that are trying to get over and trying to figure out what they're doing with their careers. I think it matters a lot more. So what was the second part of that question, so I can answer it? 'Cause I didn't grasp it.
So like, for example, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, back in their fresh days, before they was these top big names, do you think were they losing a lot and they had to go through that to rise up to the top?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, The Rock and Stone Cold definitely had to go through it and figure out what their angle was and what their entire character spiel was, and they honestly figured it out. So they had to
get their character over, is what you're saying, and then
absolutely
didn't really
absolutely
yeah,
absolutely. I'm not mad. I'm not disagreeing with that.
To Cooley's point, let's look at a guy like Bray Wyatt. Before Bray Wyatt connected with the audience as this Bray Wyatt character, we forget he was Husky Harris. He was Husky Harris in the Nexus. He was losing all the time, but it didn't really matter, because once he rebranded and connected with the audience with his new character, they was behind him. Yeah. But then on the other side of that, we got a guy like Veer. Veer been in the WWE for 4 years? I don't think he's ever lost. Veer is pretty much on a Goldberg undefeated streak. Do any of us care about Veer at all? Yeah,
not at all.
Like I'm sure there's someone in India. Like in India, Veer might be Michael Jackson. But over here, all those wins that he's stacking up don't mean a thing to us, because his character is not over. Yeah. Like I said, these wins and losses don't matter.
But I can also take the same approach though and I keep bringing him up because he's someone that I think that is actually trying, who just seems to not be as successful and really can't afford to continue to lose, which is a Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali has continuously repackaged himself, came with different characters, came with different monikers, different angles
it
hasn't been connecting whatsoever on any type of level. And on top of that, not only has it not been connecting, but he's been losing so much to the point where, wow, we consider him a jobber. Now, Veer, we don't care about. He's off television, and yeah, absolutely, he needs to get some type of character going for himself. But at the end of the day, I can look at Veer and be like, well, all right, cool. He got some wins on television, and he has to figure out his character. He has to figure out what he's going to do, but he's not a jobber. I look at, Mustafa Ali as a technically gifted, amazing, fantastic wrestler, but the guy is falling into jobber status to a point where I'm like, you were on the main roster, but now you're on NXT competing with the upstarts. I look at it as worse to me.
So here's the
downgrade than to never really get on.
There's really nothing wrong with being a jobber. We've seen a million guys turn it around. No, honestly, I'm being serious. This is coming from the heart. This is not me trolling, trying to be funny and take jabs at Mustafa Ali.
No, man.
There's nothing really wrong with being a jobber, because we've seen guys go from being jobbers to being main eventers. I mean, look at Kane, look at Bray Wyatt, look at Bryan Danielson. Like,
you're not wrong.
These guys had to go through jobbing before they finally found something that stuck.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Qwan. You're not wrong.
But then, look at a guy. Wait. Before you go, look at a guy like R-Truth. We love R-Truth.
Okay. Oh,
R-Truth ain't won a match since Barack Obama was president.
Come on,
like,
man.
Outside of that 24/7 title,
he done his thing. He already done his thing back in the day, man.
Significant in years, but R-Truth, until R-Truth decides that he wants to step away from pro wrestling, R-Truth is always going to have a spot on anybody's roster because he has a character that sticks. Like, people love it. They don't care if he's winning. They don't care if he's losing. They just want to see him on TV doing something that's going to entertain them. So that's the goal at the end of the day. And it's professional because at the end of the day, this is a fictional sport. It's storytelling. It's theater. It's all presentation. So at the end of the day, the goal is to get over in a big way. The goal is for fans to care about you. You want people booing when you walk through that curtain, or you want people cheering when you walk through that curtain. You don't want to come out to silence.
But here's the thing, though. You're talking about, and I love R-Truth. I think everybody in this podcast loves R-Truth. But the characters,
out to R-Truth.
Shout out to
R-Truth.
Phenomenal character, phenomenal wrestler, very underrated wrestler, and could probably do a lot more if given the chance and the opportunity. However, we are talking about a novelty act. The guy comes out, does his shook and dance, does the what's up thing. All the kids laugh. You know what I mean? He stayed in that lane virtually his entire career, minus maybe like a 9-month stint of, him going back to some of his previous work on WWE.
Smoking cigarettes out there. That
smoking
was fun.
cigarettes, bashing at the crowds.
Crazy.
Like
it
was a little intense. A little intense. Yeah. Minus that little stint he had. He is virtually a novelty act. We know what to expect for them, but we also got to put ourselves in these wrestlers' shoes, be empathic. A lot of these wrestlers are striving for that top spot. They're striving for that brass ring. I always relate this back to being an artist, being a musician myself. Like, we're all striving to try to get to that top space, or at least a good majority of us are. A lot of us aren't. A lot of wrestlers aren't necessarily happy with just going out and being successful in a certain facet. They want more. So when I'm putting myself in the space of those guys who are starting out as jobbers, yeah, it's nothing wrong with being a jobber when you're starting out, but it is something wrong when you've been around for a while and you've been trying to figure it out and you keep slipping down the polls because you're not figuring it out. And you may have had some highlight spots, but now you're further down the totem pole trying to figure out what your next move is going to be. And I always go back to Mustafa Ali because he is a guy who's been around for virtually now putting up on 7-8 years now. Yeah. And it's like the time is ticking and he's phenomenal, but he hasn't figured out something that works so much to the point where we've seen this guy on main rosters. We've seen him on main pay-per-views. We've seen him in major feuds. We've seen him in factions. It's like
it's just
nothing's connecting, and it sucks. It really sucks. So now he's going back to the totem pole, and I just think it's really dangerous for wrestlers who are starting out, trying to figure this thing out, to be losing continuously because they're not afforded the same amount of time and luxury that a Seth Rollins would because of everything that he's already accomplished. That's all.
I got another question for y'all.
I hear you.
So Qwan, you were saying that Seth Rollins had 76 losses last year.
Hey man, you can't. Hey. I gotta stop saying it like that.
No. I gotta bring it back up. So would you
Charlotte Bobcats?
So would you consider him a jobber? He was a jobber the whole 2022.
Not a jobber, but there's a role in professional wrestling that we like to consider jobber to the stars. So you're not a jobber per se. Like, you don't lose every single match, but when it comes to the big angles, your job is just to get other people over. Okay. Case in point, one of the jobbers to the stars right now is The Miz.
Yeah.
The Miz loses pretty much every single match he's in, but the reason he's in that role is because he's so over that if you beat him, the crowd is going to react to you. And it's not going to hurt The Miz because he's going to be over no matter what. So The Miz is a jobber to the stars. Dolph Ziggler is a jobber to the stars. And
poor Ziggler.
Honestly, in 2022, Seth Rollins was a jobber to the stars. But I mean, at the end of the day, it ain't hurt the boy because he looked like he chilling to me.
Yeah, he's a top contender, man. Anybody that cashes in on Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns on a main pay-per-view of WrestleMania, the biggest night of them all, and wins the Universal Championship, beats Brock Lesnar clean. I mean, that's a great, jobber to the stars. Like, the Miz is a 2-time Grand Slam champion. Great jobber to the stars. Even though I feel like I still would like to see one more reign. I'm just insane like that. Ziggler, good jobber to the stars. Even though I'd like to see another reign. Even though it is what it is. you know, like I think those guys can afford to go stale and figure it out. I just don't think the young guys can do that. It's like there's a time bomb. There's a ticking time clock. And the guys like The Rock and Stone Cold, you know, they had to figure it out, or else it was going to be curtains for them too. And thank God that they did, because, man, we would have probably never got any of those guys.
Well, shout out to Vince Russo, you know, for keeping Stone Cold afloat. I'm just saying. Attitude era, baby.
Wait,
Attitude era, baby.
Hold on. We're not gonna let you stick
Vince Russo.
We're not gonna, and this was not planned, but since you bringing up Vince Russo,
hey, attitude.
Ahmed Johnson, man. Ahmed Johnson said that WWE wanted him to do a lynching angle. And I know it was Vince Russo. Vince Russo, I know it was you, because you did the same angle with the Big Boss Man. You hung him from the cage. Come on. This is why black people are needed in these writers' rooms. Yeah. Black people are needed in these writers' rooms so they can immediately strike that down and be like, yo, you out your goddamn mind if you're trying to hang a black man on TV. I know that was Vince Russo. So Vince Russo, I know it's not the end of the show, but I'm packing you up. Vince Russo, you getting packed. You are getting packed up.
Listen, I wasn't bringing that up.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that.
I wasn't bringing that up. Qwan made me look kind of crazy just now. I was just talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin and him coming up in attitude. I don't know about the lynch stuff.
Hey, man, Vince Russo was sent as a secret agent to WCW to, you know, shut it all down. So he kind of gets some respect from me. You know what I mean? Shut that toilet dumpster down, man.
But listen, man. At the end of the day, I don't know who came up with this topic about even wins and losses. Does it matter? Do it matter? We all know deep down inside it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. It's not a live sport. It's all entertainment. It matters, but no, man. It's
about the character. You gotta get out there and win the character.
You don't get the highest prize with how many wins you have. This is not basketball, baby. Like, it's not. It's really not. You know what I'm saying? When Kane won his first title run, I believe it was in '98. How many wins did he have?
2?
We don't know because it doesn't matter. We were just happy he got his 24-hour title run at the end of the day.
You know what? I will. All right. So let me pose this question: Is it a time for wrestlers? Is there a time where wrestlers have to win in order for them to see a certain trajectory of their career?
Absolutely.
Who's homie from the Nexus again?
Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett. When Wade Barrett didn't win against John Cena, that kind of derailed everything, and that kind of, you know, pointed his career into a completely different space. So is there a time where wrestlers do need to win in order to cement what the trajectory of their career is going to be?
Absolutely. So that was a good question. Absolutely. I think that there does come a time when everybody has to get that big victory, especially if they're on the cusp of breaking out to superstardom. So this is not me saying that like a guy like LA Knight never needs to win. He can just stack losses for the rest of his career because he's over. At some point, if they want him to get to that next level, he's going to have to get that big victory, because we've seen instances where like a guy like Rusev was on the cusp of breaking out and he didn't get the big victory, and then he kind of faded away after. But on the same note, we don't know what really went into that. Rusev was a problem backstage. We all know that his girlfriend at the time, who's his wife now, Lana, was involved in an on-screen relationship with Dolph Ziggler, and he took it upon himself to post that they got engaged on Instagram, and Vince McMahon was like, all right, you want to do that and just step on our TV? Well, it's over for you. And once Vince McMahon wasn't behind you, it's like, it's never going to work out. It don't matter how over you get. So we don't know what the situation be like with a lot of these guys when they get to that cusp and they just don't get the big victory. We might think that the victory played a part when really it's a lot of that goes on behind the scenes that stops them from getting to that level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you ain't right, man.
I mean, we can say wins and losses matter in certain situations, but the record of each wrestler, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
There we go.
We can say that.
Hey, wrestling fans got short-term memory. All we remember is what's happening in front of us right now. So 6 months from now, ain't nobody gonna be saying, remember when LA Knight lost the Fatal 4-Way on a random ass SmackDown in July? Like, that's not what's gonna happen. Like, calm down.
Predetermined results, guys. We know what's about to happen before it happens. Relax.
Woosah. Look, I'm glad we can all kind of come to a middle ground on that. But anyway,
it's a peaceful moment.
Let's wrap that up.
Yeah.
What you got for us, Sylvan? Because I know you about to have me in my bag.
Uh-oh.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be that bad this time. I just have something that I want to discuss really quickly, and I'd like to start this out with a story. If you guys would entertain me for a little bit,
let's get it. I'm sitting Indian style. I'm ready for this.
I bet, man. So,
wait, why you sitting Indian style, man?
Wait, is Indian style offensive?
I'm kidding.
Low key, is Indian style offensive now?
Hey, look, man, I don't know anything about that.
Hey, if Indian style is, because I don't know where that derives from. It's just something that black people been saying for ages.
Why is...
So look, if that's offensive and like, if it is, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. But anyway, continue, my brother Sylvan.
Let's get it, Sylvan.
All right, man. So I'd like to preface this by saying that I've never had a favorite wrestler growing up. Like, sure, until
LA Knight was born.
Yeah, until LA Knight was born. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, this is my guy. But nah, for real. Like, I resonated with The Rock. I very much resonated with him. But, I couldn't tell you like he was my favorite wrestler. I couldn't say that, oh, this is the guy that like I want to be like when I grow up. And it was nothing personal. I just didn't have one. I enjoyed the stories and the entertainment, but the wrestling as a whole is what I enjoyed. I cared about the product of it. However, in my early 20s, I realized that Triple H is my favorite wrestler. And I've never looked at Triple H as the best in-ring talent or even the best mic performer or even the best character. But where Triple H strived was his willingness to be the bad guy and his passion for the business above anything else. I think we can all agree with that. I relate to this as a musician. Once again, I always bring this back to rap and wrestling. And I love hip hop and I have a passion for artistry beyond my own artistry. And Triple H loves wrestling, but he loves the wrestling business even more. It's what attributes to his humility. And Triple H also knew that he could make wrestlers around him better if he just had the chance, i.e. DX, i.e. Evolution, i.e. China. His knack for positioning talent he saw potential in is unmatched. It's something us wrestling fans have really appreciated about him, whether we've been aware of it or not. Now, at the height of the...
Here comes the butt.
Not yet. You know what I mean? Not yet. You know what I mean? Not yet.
I'm like a watchdog. I'm ready to attack.
Not yet, you know what I mean? Not yet. I'm almost there, you know what I mean? Look, at the height of the Vince McMahon era, which only ended a year ago, which is crazy. It's felt like 2 or 3 years at this point. We as wrestling fans clamored for Triple H to take the reins and usher in a new era of WWE with more poignant storylines, authentic characters, and getting TV time that they deserve. And last year, that's exactly what we received. Further, as much as we love to hate Triple H, we have come to turn babyface on him in recent years, as he's virtually made amends for his wrestling sins by transitioning to nurturing a plethora of WWE superstars from behind the scenes that we have all come to love and cherish, which is why it pains me to say,
here we go. Here it comes.
With a heavy heart, that the very reason we have come to love Triple H, it might be the very reason one of his biggest blind spots as COO has cost him some massive, massive failures. I'm going to pose a question to you, brothers, and then I'm going to answer it. Here's the question. Has Triple H given up on his recent rehires in WWE? The answer is yes. No. The answer is absolutely yes. And here's why. Now, while Vince released wrestlers for the sake of business, a lot of wrestling fans have showed empathy, calling out the cold-hearted and cutthroat approach for dealing. For real, it's a business. You know what I mean? For dealing with talent who have had families to feed and potential to reach. We judged and we made assumptions, calling Vince heartless and out of his mind for wasting talent that he could have utilized better, basically. So, of course, Triple H, being a man with the passion for the business of wrestling, we hired majority of the talent release as soon as he assumed head of creative in WWE with Vince out of his way. We as wrestling fans rejoiced, and we couldn't wait to see some of our favorite superstars reach their full potential under new management. Now, some of this talent includes, and it's not all of it, and I've left out a few. I'm just going to hit the main ones that we were all like, wow, they're back. Hit Row.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, the Good Brothers, Dexter Lumis, Bray Wyatt, and you know what? Just for the fact of, having this name again, I'm gonna put Johnny Gargano again. You get it twice. You're gonna get mentioned twice. Now I am guided to bring up, guys. I'm guided to bring up that we are approaching a full year since the main roster debut of Johnny Gargano. And in this debut year since, we have seen a few promising moments that have led to virtually nothing else. Can we agree?
No.
No, we can't agree. I just want to know.
I just want
before
to
I continue.
This is a very dishonest conversation that you're having with yourself right now. It's very dishonest because you're leaving out very specific details. But continue.
Yeah, I figured you would say that, so I figured I would just break down the runs in a few sentences of all of the wrestlers that I mentioned.
Oh my God!
From where they started to where they are right now, and
and
then we can get into whether or not what I'm saying is just some narrative that I made up in my mind because I rather see wrestlers, perform a certain way, or if there's just something that I'm missing because I'm pretty biased in my reasoning.
I'll play along. Let's hear it.
All right, cool. Triple H has adopted what I like to call, you had a spark when you started.
You're not about to do this.
Oh my God, bro. Hey, yo.
You know what? I'm gonna just leave it there. You had a spark when you started. I'm gonna just leave it there. You had a spark when you started.
We all know the saying.
But we all know the saying. Now, he has adopted this moniker with his approach with the booking around his rehires. I will explain. Around his rehires, I will explain. Now, Hit Row had a strong debut, but has since turned heel in an attempt to win over an audience that doesn't really care about them currently. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. Karrion Kross literally debuted beating up Drew McIntyre and placing an hourglass in front of the tribal chief, saying TikTok, but has since been booked like a jobber despite having great aesthetics. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah. Right.
Braun Strowman debuted to a massive pop on a Raw, clamoring through an entire tag team division, only to have an apologetic makeshift tag team with Ricochet due to his trash. I didn't say anything was wrong with it. See, y'all are just jumping on me. I said makeshift apologetic tag team due to his trash comments on flip-flopper wrestlers versus big guys that ended abruptly due to an injury. I didn't say the tag team was trash. I like the tag team. Am I right or am I wrong? I like the tag team.
Narrative, but continue.
I like the tag team. David and Goliath. I think they should have been called that. Am I right or am I wrong? I just want to know.
You're wrong, but who's next?
Okay. Tommaso Ciampa was the Miz's sidekick.
Oh my God. Okay.
With matching gear.
I'm about to destroy you. I'm letting you know right now. I am about to destroy you.
Which abruptly ended due to an injury, and he's picking up the pieces back to his original moniker. Am I right or am I wrong?
I'm about to destroy you, Sylvan. I'm letting you know right now.
Okay. So. All right. The facts are in the pudding, man. The Good Brothers had a debut with AJ Styles and Mia Yim.
These are false narratives. You are leaving out very important specifics.
I'm merely stating how they started versus where they ended.
No, I'm done with this. I'm done with this.
You can't be done because I'm not done
with this.
You can't be done because I'm not done.
I'm not done.
Wait. Finish that list.
Yes, let me finish my list. The Good Brothers had a debut with AJ Styles and Mia Yim that was strong, but because of AJ Styles' injury, they virtually stayed off television, and we've not cared about them on television since.
They haven't stayed on television. There was a big specific reason why they weren't on television that you left out, but go ahead, continue.
But they weren't on television though.
For a reason.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure that we understand the facts.
We just forgot that AJ Styles broke his ankle. I said it.
I said, but because of an AJ Styles injury, they virtually stayed off television, and we've not cared about them since. The truth hurts, and I'm hurting about this too. I like these guys. I like everybody on this list. I have an affinity for these wrestlers.
No,
you're right. You're right. I don't care about everybody on this list, but I like a lot of these guys. Right.
Let's just talk about the obvious.
Hold on.
Sylvan is ignoring.
I'm still not done.
Get
You
your rocks
going
on.
too long, brother.
We almost there. Dexter Lumis literally had the entire wrestling community up in arms for about 3 months.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Which his booking style and his stalker approach against The Miz. But the ball was dropped on the story angle, and he was positioned with Johnny Gargano before they virtually disappearing on television.
And you know why that happened? Because Tommaso Ciampa. Oh my God!
And of course,
you realize that there were. All right,
and of course, last but not least, Bray Wyatt.
Come on.
Having a glow in the dark. Having a glow in the dark, sticks and stones may break my bones, but LA Knight jumping off a 30-foot cliff due to a botched chokeslam from a masked Uncle Howdy won't kill me match. To virtually disappearing from television altogether, nowhere to be found, leaving the entire wrestling community hanging for maybe personal reasons, maybe creative differences, maybe he's just, I don't know. I believe Triple H's passion for the wrestling business may in a lot of ways be getting in the way of his judgments around the potential of superstars. Triple H is a risk taker, and this is not to say he hasn't been successful in his approaches with some wrestlers. However, we are going to not ignore the blind spots of Triple H's run. I believe in a lot of ways Triple H is like a kid with a shiny new toy with a lot of the wrestlers that he loves and believes in. It may be good for a time, but at some point, they either end up in the garbage or collector's items. And scene. Now,
all right,
you guys can get your rocks off.
All right,
I just wanted to let you guys know how I
know
felt.
Qwan got a lot to say.
My favorite wrestler of all time, by the way.
Let me attack this because this was a very disingenuous. How do I say that word? Disingenuous. This was a very disingenuous argument that you're making, and I'll tell you why. You're leaving out very important details.
Excuses. Oh, my bad.
Very important details. Right, First of all, you forgot to mention that Tommaso Ciampa's run was cut short because he had a hip injury that took him out of action for the damn near the entire duration of Triple H's run.
I said he had an injury. I said it.
It's not Triple H's fault that Tommaso Ciampa broke his hip and needed surgery. Let's talk about Braun Strowman. We forgot that Braun Strowman is paralyzed in one of his legs right now. It's not Triple H's fault that Braun Strowman can't walk.
Everybody's got injury on here. It's crazy.
We forgot that Johnny Gargano got injured in Elimination Chamber. It's not his fault that Johnny Gargano got injured. We forgot that AJ Styles broke his ankle, which left his team sidelined for 8 months. It's not Triple H's fault that
I said he was injured. I said everybody was injured. It sounds like he just likes hiring a bunch of injury-prone wrestlers.
Outside of these injuries, Sylvan left out a couple important names that Triple H brought back, and I wonder why. Was it because he was trying to make a false narrative that Triple H has only hired bums? Last time I checked, Triple H also rehired Dakota Kai, who's a 2-time women's tag team champion. She's one of the most popular women in the company right now. She's one of the most popular women in the company right now.
Keep that same energy, Qwan.
Last time I checked, he also rehired Io Sky, who's a 2-time women's tag team champion, who's one of the most over women in the company right now, and also Mrs. Money in the Bank. Did we forget about her? Oh, wait a minute. There's another woman we forgot. Chelsea Green. The current women's tag team champion. Triple H brought her back. We didn't mention her. Why didn't we mention her?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. What about Bronson Reed? Bronson Reed, the next big man on Monday Night Raw. We forgot about him. Why didn't we mention him? Reed. Is it because he's stacking up W's and looking like he's next in line?
Yeah, I like Bronson Reed. He's nice.
What about all the gimmicks that reverted back to their original state under Triple H? What about your favorite LA Knight? Wasn't he Max Dupree a year ago?
Yeah,
remember that? Absolutely. Remember the Maximum Male models?
I remember.
Triple H.
I remember that.
Triple H is responsible for this LA Knight. Am I right?
Yeah, I didn't say that. I didn't say. I'm not saying Vince does. I'm not. I'm sorry, Vince. I'm not saying Triple H doesn't have wins.
I'm not done.
Yeah, get your rocks off.
What was Dominic Mysterio doing a year ago? Wasn't he running around his dad and
doing
619s and nobody cared? What did Triple H do to Dominic Mysterio? Oh, that's right. He took him to prison. Came out with a teardrop and an off-white flannel. He repping the gang. He repping the hood now. He repping the barrio.
Yeah,
he dirty Dom now. Triple H has done a lot right in his run. So let's not pretend that all his rehires have been terrible. There's been reasons why these things have gone. Look, wrestling fans, I understand that in y'all perfect world, everybody is undefeated. Everybody's a world champion. Nobody ever loses, and everybody's on TV for an equal amount of time. But at the end of the day, everybody has a role to play, okay? Some of these people were brought back to be depth on the roster, and that's fine. Y'all realize that wrestling is not only happening when it's on TV. We understand that WWE has house shows during the week, right? It's not just Mondays and Fridays. There's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys wrestle regularly on these house shows. Karrion Kross is a regular. The Good Brothers, they're regulars on these shows. So just because they're not getting the TV time that you want, because you want everybody to have equal time in this perfect fantasy world that you made up in your head, doesn't mean that they were bad rehires. Some people were just brought back for depth, and that's okay.
Qwan, the reason why I can't agree with you is because you're not being empathic towards these wrestlers. You're assuming that every wrestler is okay
making
with
millions
just
of dollars, getting to do what they love.
Why that's a false. See, that's a false understanding of how wrestlers think. You think every wrestler is just in here doing it for the money, and if wrestlers were doing it for the money, a lot of them would have stayed on other promotions.
Cooley. Why do you go to work?
Let's pull out LA Knight.
The best.
I gotta get this bag and pay these bills.
Cooley, what do you love? What do you love? What do you love versus how do you work?
Okay.
What do you love versus why do you work? You work to pay the bills. Now, at some point, you want what you do that you love to be the thing that pays the bills, right? Now, a lot of these wrestlers are doing what they love to do. It's not about the money.
The bills. So what's the problem?
Absolutely. The problem is that once you're paying the bills, doing what you love, you still want more. Now, look at LA Knight. LA Knight could have stayed at Impact.
Sylvan, let me ask you a question. You realize that you're talking about rehires, right?
Yeah.
Before they were rehired, what were they doing?
They were sitting
down.
How
are they getting paid?
They were sitting down, trying to figure it out.
Were they making money?
Unemployed, baby.
So now they're getting paid? So what's the problem?
The problem is that it's more than money for these wrestlers. A lot of these wrestlers took pay cuts.
Pro wrestling is not Pokemon training. They're not. The goal is not to be the best Pokemon trainer in the world. The goal is to make a living doing what you like to do. And
it's really unfortunate.
A living doing what they love to do. This is not everybody ain't Ash Ketchum.
It's highly unfortunate.
To win badges.
It's highly unfortunate.
Come on, man. This is wrestling.
Highly unfortunate. It's highly unfortunate that you're not putting yourself in these wrestlers' shoes for real. You're thinking that just because wrestlers show up for work and are getting a paycheck that they should be happy and get a pat on the back. At the end of the day, these wrestlers, a lot of them, a good majority, not all of them, want to reach the top of the totem pole. It's the reason why we hear the stories again and again about wrestlers being unhappy about their position, being unhappy about how they're moving in the company. I mean, my gosh, how many times are we going to hear about wrestlers wishing that they had more TV time? Disgruntled Mustafa Ali. I wish I had more time. I wish I had more of an opportunity to show what I could really do in this company. Because at the end of the day, money isn't everything to these wrestlers. If they were just here to just get a paycheck and wrestle, they could wrestle anywhere in the world. It's a reason why people go to WWE. They want to be superstars. Otherwise, you can wrestle at Impact. LA Knight was making more money at Impact. He took a pay cut to go to NXT because he wants to be that guy.
And now it paid off.
He wants to be that guy. And he's still under that contract. He's still under that contract. He has to renegotiate his contract based off of the things that he's done from
NXT to the main roster, right? There is.
I can't confirm nor.
Look, at the end of the day, if wrestlers go to work because they want to be the best or whatever, like that's cool and all. But Triple H, I'm here to let you know, I'm about my bread. So if you want to bring me in to be a jobber, take some pens, I'll do it if you've given me the right amount of money. So look your boy up, Hunter. My name is Qwan. I live at 2070. I'm just playing.
I was like,
look, I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy.
So what I'm hearing from based off Sylvan's list of failures, pretty much they're all just injury prone, and that's not on them because wrestling is a high level activity sport. So can we blame them and can we call them bums? And another thing, was Vince wrong or right for letting these people go?
Ooh, now look, I'm gonna say yes.
You are evil man for asking that.
I'm gonna say yes. He got a lot of flack for letting these people go, but Triple H brought them back, and now look. Like,
and that's my point. That's my point, Cooley. Is that in my opinion, we bashed Vince McMahon. Now I don't know. I know I said before jokingly like Vince was right. I'm joking. I don't really know if Vince was right, but I can't deny the fact that in the past year, we haven't seen a lot from these wrestlers, whether it be injury prone, storyline prone, or character prone. We haven't seen a lot from these guys at all on any level. Now, I can't attribute Triple H hiring injury prone guys. You know what I mean? I don't believe that these guys are injury prone. Everybody suffers injuries. It just is what it is. You go through it, you figure it out, you move through it all. But I am saying that Triple H's passion may be getting in the way of what he views as potential to these WWE superstars versus Vince McMahon's approach, which is, well, maybe we don't really need these guys like that. Which two different perspectives on how to book wrestling, but the proof is in the pudding. I've laid it out. We were really excited, and now we're not.
And I'm not gonna lie. Like, Sylvan is speaking a lot of truth. I like a lot of the guys that Triple H has brought back, and obviously, I want these people to have jobs. I don't see a problem with looking out for the people that you like. If Triple H likes Johnny Gargano and he wants to bring him back, but it doesn't necessarily work out on the main roster, at the end of the day, he's getting a paycheck, and Triple H looked out for his boy. So I can't fault him for that. But Sylvan is definitely not wrong. We did expect a lot from these guys, especially Hit Row. When Hit Row came back, I was so behind Hit Row. And shout out to AJ Francis.
Shout out to AJ.
You got bars, my guy, but I really expected a lot from that. So, like, the fact that we didn't get much from them, it kind of hurt my heart to see. But at the end of the day, you got, like I said in the beginning, character is everything. Find a better character and get over. I'm sorry.
My last thing is that, this goes back to my point with some of these wrestlers on here. It's kind of hard to be in this position. You can't be in this position trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Taking L's, not being on TV, because at a certain point, we just going to look at you like, oh, there goes that guy again. No reaction. You're not getting boos. You're not getting cheers. You're just getting, oh, here comes Hit Row. Or, oh, here comes Karrion Kross.
No reaction is the worst reaction.
The worst. And that, for me, is dangerous for newer superstars. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, good talk. Good talk, my guys. You made some good points. You made some strong points.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna hold you.
You know what I mean? Just I'm just trying to call a spade, man.
Hey, shout out to Johnny Gargano though. Shout out to you. Hopefully
Gargano.
He gets
shout
back
out to Bray
now that Tommaso Ciampa is back. Shout out to Bray. Where is
shout out to Bray?
That's a whole different topic for a whole different podcast.
No disrespect, but no disrespect.
I had to do my Larry June. Hey. Relax.
Bray,
back.
I respect you, Bray, but man, I'm giving up.
Don't listen to nothing that this man.
I'm saying that I am giving up. I don't. My brothers love you, and I respect them, and I respect you, but I'm personally giving up.
Guess what?
Hip hop for your happiness, do it, brother.
Hip hop is fickle, and so is wrestling. So hey, let's keep it going.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we short term memory, baby. Whatever is in front of us, we react. And we don't care about what happened last week, 6 months ago. But anyway, let's get back to my favorite part of the show. Jay, Cooley, what you got for us in the rundown? What's going on?
We got a lot of things going on. I don't know if y'all was watching wrestling this Saturday. It was a lot of things happened.
That exists.
Yeah.
Come on, man, relax.
Hey, I love
relax.
Man, I'm just playing.
Hey,
that's my
Saturday.
One of our legends that was birthed from WWE, who's over there across the hall at AEW. After his match, he put his boots in the middle of the ring and left.
Oh, yeah.
You know who we talking about? We are talking about
Billy Gunn.
Badass Billy Gunn, man. Is this indicating a retirement? Or he might be taking a break, maybe shift angle gimmicks. I don't know. But personally, to me, I think he's retired, man. You don't just put your boots in the ring and leave.
Yeah,
I think he might be retired, man.
Usually, when you leave your boots in the ring, that means it's a wrap for you, right? I mean,
Triple H.
I hope this is a storyline. It's like, this can't be real, right?
I mean, how long is his contract up with him?
I don't. It could be nearing the end now. So maybe this is just to indicate that his AEW career is over. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back to the WWE and did like a producer role or something. I mean, Triple H is his man's, ain't he?
Yep.
Yeah. But he didn't do no nod to the crowd or nothing. He just aggressively threw his boots in the ring and just left. I'm like, wait, this is weird.
That's why I think this might be a storyline. Like, maybe this is something to just get him to get away from that. The claim, the whole scissor me daddy joint. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Whoa.
Pause.
Hey, yo.
Pause.
Yeah, it's a
but
thing.
Maybe this is just a way to get him away from that, and this is just a storyline. Like, I'm kind of unclear about this, but if it is a career Yo, Billy Gunn, you one of the GOATs. You got one of my favorite theme songs of all time. I'm an ass man. Hey, pause that. I'm an ass man, by the way. Like, what was you doing?
The ladies love that dude, man. I will never forget about that.
But yeah, that's what 26 years, man. Shout out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shout out to Billy Gunn, man.
I don't think he's done. I think he's either at the end of his contract or it's going to transition to a different storyline for him. But you know, if he is retiring, man, I mean, all respect and love to you, Billy Gunn. You know, I mean, Hall of Famer, bro. I wish you got to work with The Rock. You know what I mean? I wish The Rock put you over.
He's 60 years old, y'all. Billy Gunn is 60 years old.
Billy Gunn is 60?
Yo, my man.
Wow,
like
that man is in shape. He is in shape.
Like Batista.
Yo.
Like
well,
Batista,
I mean, Ric Flair was wrestling until he was like 98. So,
Ric Flair got to be 107 at this point.
Nah, man, Ric Flair like 75, bro.
Nah,
bro, he tells of the crib,
something like that.
He's 75 in human years, but like in wrestling years, Ric Flair is about 730.
Bro, that's crazy.
And what else you got for us, Cooley?
Next on our list, we have, we got to take it back to the bloodline because it's what makes wrestling.
Oh, God.
It's the most big thing. We have Umaga's son, Zilla Fatu, made his in-ring debut at Reality of Wrestling. How are we feeling about this, man? He did the spike. Oh, my God. How are we feeling about this, man?
So I love Zilla Fatu. I can see a lot coming for Zilla Fatu. He's one of the few wrestlers that I have been following before he was even a professional wrestler. So Zilla Fatu, he got into some trouble when he was a little younger. He did some time. He came out of jail, tattoos all on his neck, turned his life around, and now he's looking like he's going to be the next big thing in professional wrestling. Hopefully he makes it to WWE. I know a lot of people from that Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's training school. A lot of those guys go from there to WWE. So I can see that in Zilla Fatu's future. I mean, he's a part of the Bloodline family, the NOI family. So he already got that working for him.
He's got a lot of charisma, man. And I'd like to see him. Obviously, I want to see him come to WWE. I thought his in-ring debut was promising. You know what I mean? I think he still has some things to work out here and there, but he's definitely super promising, man. And I don't know. This just kind of feels like, I know the Bloodline is just now started. You know, shouts to Rikishi doing the, I did it for The Rock in 2000. And that was really the start of the Bloodline storyline. But I feel like now that it's at its height, we kind of are seeing the breadcrumbs of like generations of the Bloodline being on TV for years to come. I could see this being like something that just continues to go on and on, like a reoccurring storyline. So shout out to Zilla, man. I'm glad you changed your life.
Shout out to Zilla, man.
Hey,
man, bro, it's great.
We got to get Zilla on this podcast.
Oh yeah,
we got to get Zilla on this podcast for sure. Hey, Zilla a little hood though, so I hope he stay out of trouble because like the way he be acting and talking on these videos, I'm like, yo, Zilla seems like he from the hood. Is he from Inglewood? We sure he not from Inglewood?
I don't know. He might be from Nipsey. might be from Nipsey Hood. I don't know.
Hey, but shout out to Zilla.
Okay, so next we have on our list, probably the funniest segment I've seen in the past 3 weeks. I don't know. This man Grayson Waller, bro. He extended an invitation. To The Rock, bro, because The Rock is unemployed. For those who don't know, he's in Hollywood, obviously.
That's not funny. Shout out to the.
It's not funny. Shout out to Rock
and the writers. Come on, man.
But he wants The Rock to be a guest on his show at SummerSlam, which will be hilarious. I think The Rock should do it. I think he should pull up. But then again, I'm sure fans will still be mad regardless because he didn't even pull up for WrestleMania and all the stuff prior. But I think he should pull up to SummerSlam. That would be dope.
Man,
that's just me.
Hell no. The Rock, stay your ass away from SummerSlam.
Come on, man.
While I would love to see The Rock, bro, his cousin getting his ass whooped every week by Roman Reigns. Like, Roman Reigns just dog walking your cousin, and you can't come back for that, but you're going to come back for this Australian white man calling you out. Nah, get out of here, The Rock. If you're not coming back to defeat Roman Reigns and protect your cousins, then stay out the way, man. Go chill until the strike is over.
He don't need to be a part of the Bloodline story no more. I don't. It is what it is at this point.
Now until it happens.
I think he should come back and do both. I think he should come back, do the Grayson Waller effect, give that man a little rub, pause, You know what I mean? And do what you got to do. Get him over.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying?
You want him to rub Grayson Waller?
What?
Pause.
That's why I said it. You know what I mean? You know the rules. Come on, man. And so, like, you know what I mean? Give Grayson Waller the Waller effect. And then, you know,
pause for that. I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? I don't either.
I'm over here on my Cam and Mace right now. My bad.
You and your Damon Dash, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, you know, that's the name of the show. He's going to do he should be on the talk show, is what I'm saying. He should be on the talk show, put him over, and then he should intervene at the end of SummerSlam once Jay gets gets himself beat up, because he will. Jay is going to lose very, very badly. And I want, Roman to beat the bricks off of him, and then I want The Rock to pull up and be like, nah, bruh. It ain't happening like that. Get off my cousin. And that's going to lead us to Survivor Series, where, we will get the match between him and The Rock, and then, or Royal Rumble or whatever. And, and The Rock puts over Roman in a proper way, where Roman beats him and keeps it pushing. So, yes, I think he should return, but he should do both. I'm
not mad at that. Hey, WWE really trusts Grayson Waller, because
that's crazy, right?
Gave him Cena, and then they gave him Edge, and now The Rock. God damn.
Yeah.
They're giving him the Randy Orton effect.
Right. Somebody loves him.
Damn,
Shout out to
Grayson Waller,
though.
That's crazy.
Pseudos.
Well, next up we have, from the news I was seeing, Brian Pillman Jr. just left AEW, and he is currently training at the Performance Center for WWE. And he's expected to sign a deal. For those who don't know, his father was a legend from the 80s, from the 90s. He wrestled on ECW, WCW, tragically passed away early 90s. And his son is carrying his legacy, hopefully. And we'll see what he'll do in WWE. I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's get it.
Y'all want me to tell the truth? Y'all want me to tell the truth or be nice?
Oh my God, tell the truth, bro.
Look, I'm gonna be nice.
Brother.
Shout out to Brian Pillman Jr.'s dad.
Nah, what's your real heart? Nah.
Look, so I like Brian Pillman, man. His son is his son, so he got that going for him. So shout out to him for being Brian Pillman's son. And yeah, that's
bro said his son is his son. Oh my God, that was the wire.
Look, I'm sorry. Okay,
bar like.
So y'all know me. I'm the residential AEW fan. So I watch AEW a lot. So I'm very familiar with his game. I'm very familiar with Brian Pillman Jr.'s game. I watch the Varsity Blondes. Brian Pillman Jr., he got a good look. His dad is Brian Pillman, so hopefully it works out for him. But, man, y'all remember Dominic Mysterio 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yuck. That's Brian. That's what Brian Pillman Jr. is right now. He got a long way to go before he turns into anybody that we should care about. But shout out to Brian Pillman Jr. Look, I ain't mad at nobody getting a job at WWE. Get your bread, young man.
I don't really care for Brian Pillman Jr. I'm just gonna keep it a stack. Right. I'm just keeping it a stack. You know what I mean? I'm just being real. I don't really care for him like that. I do respect that he is the second generation Brian Pillman, very true legend. I think the work he's done on AEW has been okay at best. It's been okay at best. It's not it's not really memorable. I'm sorry, it's not. Like his name is what's keeping him moving. I don't think he's terrible, but it's not like I'm not losing sleep if I don't watch Brian Pillman Jr. But with that being said, I do think that if there's any place to get him where he could possibly thrive, it's going to be WWE. I think they have a certain style, a certain way of carrying wrestlers that wrestlers have to adhere to. And I think that Brian Pillman Jr. could use that. I don't think he needs as much free reign as someone like a John Moxley needs to just do whatever they want. I think he needs direction. I think he needs structure. I think he needs a way of actually doing things in order to succeed. The same way I felt that way about Dominic. So, yeah, it's super early.
And it's early, like, 6 months from now, we could go back to this podcast and be like, damn, we had it wrong. We were way off. You never know. This is wrestling, man.
It's a beauty.
Crazier stories happen, man. So
we've seen the struggle of Dom, and after me seeing that with these eyes I have, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Shout out to KG. Shout out to KG.
And last we have is our friend, Dave Meltzer.
Oh my God.
He gave FTR versus Bullet Club a 5 rating and said it's the best tag team match ever that was on television.
Didn't he give it like a 5 1/4 or something? Like, what is a 5 1/4 stars,
Bro.
The best tag team champions,
Bro,
I mean,
he
the best
smoked.
tag team match, free TV. What is this ESPN ass stat, man? This is like, oh, LeBron James is the first player to score 27 on back-to-back nights on a Tuesday in January. Like, bruh, I can't even name other like TV. Like, huh? Dave Meltzer, man. Shout out to Dave Meltzer.
Shout out to Dave Meltzer. I mean,
he has a lot of. I see Sylvan's face. Look, Dave Meltzer has a lot of pull in this game, man. He's a very esteemed journalist. What he says is, people live and swear by his word. But this whole 5 1/4 star match thing, at some point we're gonna have to have a real conversation about this. What?
I think man, I'm trying to choose my words very wisely here. I do not care about Dave Meltzer. I don't care about Dave Meltzer's rating system. I don't care about.
Oh my
Dave
God,
Meltzer's.
Yo, you black it out. You black it out. You give it too much.
About,
we got a whole nother podcast.
No.
This is a pocket.
I'm not gonna
go off.
This is a pocket that we going in our next episode. Next episode we will be addressing this Dave Meltzer.
I'm not gonna go off. I'm not gonna go off.
Save it.
I'm not gonna go off. I'm just saying I don't care about his rating system like that. But
all right.
That was a great match.
It was a great match. It was a good match.
And so and that's what I'm saying. It's like, look, I don't really care for his 5-star, 4-star rating system. I respect everyone else who does. It's something I don't adhere to. But at the end of the day, that was a great match. It was a phenomenal match. The best tag team match ever. I mean,
bro. The Usos don't have
I don't know what to say about
that.
that. I mean, I don't.
That's cat.
The Hardys don't have a 5-star match. The New Day don't have a 5-star match. But
wait, what?
The Hardys versus the Blood,
and that's and it's no slight. It's no slight to FTR, man. Like, and it's no slight to them or the club, man. Like, I'm not mad at those guys. Like, they had an incredible match, but
it was a good match.
But it's just like, I don't know about the best tag team match of all time. Like, but that's just me though. I'm like, I'd have to like think about a lot of tag team matches,
right.
like just to be in that space. But like,
right,
shouts to Dave for honoring a really great match, even though I don't really care about your system. Just keeping it a beat. But that's just me.
It's all for clicks and views these days, man. That's all I got for the rundown.
All right, well, we appreciate you, my brother, for that beautiful rundown that you just gave us.
It's incredible.
So one thing we like to do on this show is pay our respects to our favorite black wrestlers, both past and present. So we're going to give our flowers on this episode to one of my favorites, the Human Tornado.
Hey.
Now, I know a lot of y'all remember Human Tornado for his time in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. He was probably you see Cooley doing the dance. Look, Human Tornado was probably the first viral wrestler. Like when YouTube was first a thing, I remember seeing a Human Tornado highlight video on YouTube where he was like just doing what he do, pimp slapping people and dancing, and it was like a sugar-free song playing, and I'm like, yo, what is this? Wrestling exists outside of WWF and WCW.
Right.
Yeah.
So I remember going on YouTube and, getting into PWG and stuff. So Human Tornado pretty much ushered me into this whole independent wrestling space. So shout out to Human Tornado. It's a lot of mystery as far as where he is these days or what happened with his wrestling career. But, shout out to Human Tornado. He's a legend.
I think he had a match like a year ago. I think he had a match a year ago,
something like Not Michael Jackson.
It was like
a wrestler playing as Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, it was in the backyard. I think it was in Compton, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that.
Shout out to Human Tornado being in Compton.
Facts.
Hey, and funny thing, his gimmick was so controversial at the time because the whole blaxploitation thing, like the pimps and all that image, but. I get why a lot of people are like offended by it, but for me personally, I feel like blaxploitation is art. It's black art at the end of the day. So shout out to
it was also like hugely popular amongst us as black people. So like I don't really take offense to like anyone adopting that. Like people in the 70s were like pulling up. It was like a thing to do to go see blaxploitation films. So shouts to Tornado, man.
Shouts
Hey,
out
but,
to Tornado.
We don't only give our flowers on this podcast, though. On this podcast, we do something a little evil, something a little dirty and sinister. We also pack people up. Y'all already know I packed up Vince Russo early in the show because Vince Russo, you wildin' for trying to hang a black man on WWE television. Like, you are out of your goddamn mind. But that's who I packed up. Who are you fellas packing up this week?
Who you got, Sylvan? Oh, you want me to go? You want me to go? You want me to go?
Yeah, you go, Cooley. Yeah, you go. Cooley.
All right, man. So we was talking about independent just now with Human Tornado, right?
Oh, shit.
So I'm packing up somebody from the independent scene, man. It's a tag team group by the name of the Bang Bros. Bro, these dudes just got a cease and desist by the porn company Bang Bros. Now, you know damn well what that website was. Why would you even name your wrestling group that, bro? For those who don't know, this is August Matthews and Davey Bang. Those are the wrestlers' names. They've been wrestling,
hey,
bro. They've been wrestling for like over 3 years in the independent, and it's like you knew this. Why would you do that, man? We packing them up, man. Come on, yo. That's sick.
That's insane. That's like naming this podcast Pornhub. Like, obviously it's gonna get shut down at some point. We're not gonna just skate through naming our what? Hey,
bro,
shout
it's
out
crazy.
To Bang Bros, though.
Oh man.
Pause.
Oh, and they're tag team champions right now too, by the way. But yeah.
Hey man. Reminds me of the Banger Brothers. It's like you know what I'm saying? It's like,
the Banger Bros, yeah.
The Banger Bros.
WWE stopped that real quick. They said,
like,
fast.
Here. Yeah.
Fast.
None of that.
Man,
who you got, Sylvan?
I'm packing up somebody that, honestly, we could pack up for every episode if we really wanted to, but it's kind of petty, man. But I'm packing up Hulk Hogan, man. You know what I mean? Hulk Hogan,
yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Hulk Hogan is getting married for a third time to a woman that is 20 to 30 years younger than him. I just feel like he's about to repeat a cycle that he keeps repeating, and I pack him up. Just pack him up because, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, brother, like like, pack him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see you near, wrestling ever again. I know you've been slightly teasing a return match, retirement match. You know what I mean? We don't want to see that ever again, bro. Like, I guess I'm happy that you found love, but then again, I'm really not. You know what I mean? So pack him up, get him out of here.
Pack Hulk Hogan up.
Pack him
for
up.
having a ponytail attached to his bandana. For the longest time, I thought that his hair was real. I did not realize that the back of his hair comes off with the bandana.
What?
That's crazy, bro. You didn't notice?
What?
Yo. He been rocking a weave. Hulk Hogan been wearing a weave for the last 20 years, and we ain't
bro.
even
He's Steve Harvey.
Yeah. He's
oh
sick,
my
god. He almost. Him and Vince had a chance to buy UFC at one point.
Yeah, I know they regret that.
Yeah,
they regret that because UFC is as much as I love wrestling, UFC smacking niggas.
What?
Right now.
Facts.
Yeah,
well, had a chance.
I guess that'll do it for this episode. If you enjoyed us, make sure you follow us on everything. Like, subscribe, follow us on MySpace, Hinge, Black People, Plenty of Fish.
Golly.
Follow us, like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week with another episode of Wrestling with the Homies. Peace.
Peace.